The TikTok algorithm has completely changed, and you need to make sure that you're adapting the type of content you're creating, the descriptions you're writing in your content, and two other things I'm going to share with you towards the end of this video that are going to make all the difference in how many views you're actually getting right now. In fact, this creator right here just went from struggling to growing on TikTok to getting over 600,000 followers and being able to monetize their content simply by implementing the tips I share with you in this video. And this creator was able to do the same thing, except they gained over 1.5 million followers. And again, they were finally able to monetize their content once they started to adapt to this latest TikTok algorithm, because it's all about being able to monetize your content. Change number one is you need to make sure that you're adapting to TikTok's latest feature, which is that they're trying to push landscape videos. And if you haven't already opted into this, you need to make sure that you opt into it. And if you haven't gotten a notification for it yet, I would strongly suggest that you submit a support ticket to TikTok and tell them that you want the new landscape video feature, because they're literally boosting people's views that opt into this. And all you have to do is start creating landscape content on TikTok, and it could either revive your dead account, or it can help you start up that new account and finally get the growth that you've been looking for on TikTok, simply because they're trying to boost people's posts that are doing this because they want to be able to compete with YouTube. If you haven't noticed yet, TikTok keeps going closer and closer to what YouTube is doing, and the reason that they're doing this is because they understand that long form content allows content creators like you to get paid way more money, so they need more of you creating long form content. In addition to that, if you just adapt to creating long form content with vertical content, guess what it's going to do? It's going to skyrocket the amount of reach that you're getting, like this creator right here that just had 2 posts recently get over 100,000 views. And what do those 2 posts have in common? Both of them have been edited within the TikTok app, and they're also over 1 minute long. And you could do the same exact thing in your account if you start doing these things. But you also need to remember, you need to change your descriptions you're writing, because the descriptions in your content are one of the #1 ways for TikTok to actually be able to determine who to show your content to. Because here's how TikTok actually works. You upload something to TikTok. They then show it to a few people. This might be 100 people, 200 people, 300 people. And if your videos are dying at that rate, it's simply because they don't know the correct people to actually show your content to. And what they're doing, showing your content to the wrong people. And then as a result, you're not getting the engagement that TikTok wants you to be getting. And boom, your videos just don't get the views that they want, and you're stuck in 200 to 300 view jail. Instead, what you need to make sure that you're doing is choosing the right keywords to put in your content. And you shouldn't be putting them off randomly on the screen like a bunch of people are telling you to do. In fact, you should never do that. You should never just load up your video on TikTok with a bunch of keywords. Instead, you need to be focused on 1 to 2 keywords that you're going after that you want to actually rank for on TikTok, or that you want TikTok to say, hey, this is the audience that I'm trying to reach, so please show my content to this audience. And the 3 places that you should be putting those keywords are: 1, in the description of your video; 2, in the text that shows on the screen in your video in the first 15 seconds; and within the voiceover or you speaking within your content in the first 15 seconds. Because if that's not happening, it's going to drastically decrease the rate at which TikTok finds the right audience to show your content to, and that's why you're not getting the views that you want to right now. Now, all this is going to be completely useless if you don't have an effective way to convert your TikTok followers or your TikTok viewers to people that you can reach 24/7. Because at the end of the day, TikTok could just shut off the reach that you're getting right now. I mean, we've seen this happen with Instagram in the past. You used to be able to get a ton of reach on Instagram, and then boom, overnight, they only allowed you to reach your followers. Now, since then, Instagram has fixed that, but there was a long stretch in time where you weren't able to reach the people that were interested in the content you were creating, simply because they changed the algorithm. And if you've been posting on TikTok, you know the TikTok algorithm changes all the time, which is exactly why you need to make sure that you're creating a landing page so that you can start to collect people's email addresses or their phone numbers so that you can reach them directly, and you don't have to rely on TikTok to be able to do this. Lucky for you, HubSpot allows you to do this with their new Campaign Assistant tool, which allows you to create copy for a landing page in just a few seconds. And to try it out for free, all you have to do is go to the description below and sign up right now. All you have to do is tell it that you want to create a landing page, and you tell it what the landing page is about, the 3 core messages you're trying to hit, what you want your audience to do, and the writing style that you want to actually show, and boom, it literally just created a full landing page for you simply by you implementing a few different prompts and clicking that button. This used to take several hours or cost you thousands of dollars, and now HubSpot's Campaign Assistant can literally complete this for you in just a few seconds. And the best part is, it can also help you create Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, emails, and Instagram ads are coming soon. And that's exactly why I would strongly suggest you go to the pinned comment below and try it for yourself for free right now. Now, there are two other changes that you still need to be making when it comes to the TikTok algorithm, because if you're not making these adjustments, you're gonna be at a huge disadvantage. In fact, I see a lot of big accounts on TikTok or a lot of small accounts dying right now simply because they're not focused on these next two things I'm gonna share with you. And the last one is by far the most important. The first of those is you need to make sure that you're spending less time editing your content. TikTok doesn't want highly produced content anymore. They wanted this a year ago or 2 years ago, but they do not want this anymore. Instead, they want your content to have a very authentic feel. And the way that you do this is by editing the content within the TikTok app. You shouldn't be using Adobe Premiere Pro or any other crazy editing applications for you to actually create your content. Instead, you need to make sure that you're creating content within the app, and you need to make sure that you're using the features that TikTok actually has in their app. For example, using the green screen feature, or using different sounds or different effects that TikTok actually has in their app, because they want you to be able to just create content from your phone, and ideally, that's what the audience actually wants also, because it looks more authentic, it feels more authentic, and it doesn't feel like you're constantly being marketed to. On top of that, you need to make sure that the editing that you're doing has 3 core features in it, because if it doesn't have these 3 things, then your content just simply isn't gonna get the views that you want. The first thing you need to make sure your content has is text on the screen in the first 3 seconds that is going to act as a compelling hook. Now, I don't want you to think that just because you're not editing your content as much, that you also shouldn't be using these psychological tricks that we've still been using on TikTok, because you need to make sure that you're still doing that. The second thing you need to make sure that you're doing is constant clip changes. You should still have a clip change every 3 to 4 seconds, because if you're not doing this, you're not resetting the viewer's attention, and then guess what ends up happening? They get bored, they end up leaving your content, your average view duration drops, or you're gonna have spots within your audience retention graph that just have a huge drop off, and then as a result, TikTok doesn't want to push out your content, because TikTok wants to keep people on the app. The way that they keep people on the app is by pushing out content that has a really good average view duration, and the way for you to increase your average view duration is to make sure that you're changing clips constantly and implementing this last editing trick. The last and most important thing that you could be doing is using something like this. If you don't know what this is, it's a prop that I'm using in this piece of content right now to keep you watching and to keep you engaged. If you have a prop within your content, or ideally several different props that you're using, guess what ends up happening? Viewers get fixated on that, and then they want to see what exactly you're talking about. And you could do this in several different ways. First, you could create a video about something and actually include it in the video, like I'm doing with this iced tea right now. Or you could do this with the green screen feature. Or you could do this by talking about something and describing the prop, but not actually revealing it until the end of the video. And what this does is gets the viewer so hooked on that thing that they want to see it so badly that they're willing to wait all the way through to the end of the video. In fact, if you look at Mr. Beast's videos, he does an absolutely amazing job at this, especially on TikTok, and that is why he's one of the fastest growing TikTok accounts on social media. Which leads me to by far the most important change that you need to make, and this is a massive one, which is that you shouldn't be posting as much as humanly possible on TikTok anymore. In the past, this was one of the easiest ways to grow on TikTok. You could literally post 8 times a day, 12 times a day, 4 times a day, or 16 times a day, and TikTok would keep pushing out your content. TikTok doesn't work like that anymore. In fact, if you post more than 3 times a day, they're probably going to mark your account as spam. So I would strongly suggest that you do not do that. Instead, you need to be focused more on the quality and quantity, and actually being able to play with both of those things within your content. Now, and I'm not saying you should only be uploading 1 to 2 times a week. I'm not saying that you should be uploading as much as humanly possible. What I'm saying is you need to find a fine balance between uploading quality content and uploading a quantity of content. And typically, the easiest way to get to quality content is by focusing on creating a high quantity of content. But that doesn't mean that you need to put out every single TikTok that you create. For example, you could create 3 TikToks a day, but only publish the top 2 TikToks that you actually create. or only publish the top TikTok that you create. Because at the end of the day, every shot that you see LeBron James make during a game is probably 1/10 of the shots that he's actually taken if you include the amount of time that he's spent practicing. And you need to think about social media the same exact way. You need to spend more time actually practicing and less time just pumping out as much content as humanly possible, because TikTok today wants to make sure that you're getting a good amount of engagement every single time that you post, because this is going to make the algorithm trust you more, and then as a result, they're going to push out your content more. Or you might be posting at the wrong time on TikTok, which could be destroying the amount of views that you're getting. And if you want to know the best time to post on TikTok right now, I strongly suggest you check out this video right here, where I reveal the 3 best times to post right now in 2024. I'll see you over there.